Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been, gosh, let's see, it's January 2026 as I'm filming this. I hope to still upload this video in January 2026, but it's been like probably almost 2 years since I uploaded my last video. I think my last video was the cosmetics and commentary video about the film Gaslight, which I think I uploaded in April or March 2024. So to say that I'm overdue for another video is an understatement, I think. Doing things a little bit differently today. I'm actually filming on my iPhone, so we'll see how that goes. I did buy a microphone, then found out I actually couldn't connect it to my iPhone. So just using that good old iPhone's microphone today. So anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and jump straight in because I know that the reason you clicked on this video was because you want to hear a recap or retelling of Night of the Blood Beast from 1958. Oh, by the way, I shouldn't be rude. I should introduce myself. My name is Kim Wilson and I love doing recap videos on a variety of movies really, but I found that my main interest seems to be horror and sci-fi movies of the 50s or just older movies in general. And I also like to do my makeup while I talk about these movies. Now, as always, this is a full recap. I do tell the whole story, so yes, there will be spoilers. All my base makeup is done, my eyebrows and the base shade for my eyes. So again, I feel so rusty. It's been almost 2 years. So I'm just gonna go ahead, jump straight in, just do my eyes and lips. I will list the products I use in the description box below. And anyway, let's just go ahead and get started. So the film begins with an astronaut named John Corcoran in a rocket ship. So this astronaut's mission was just to orbit the Earth. This would mark the, remember this film came out in 1958, so before the moon landing and everything. So basically this space mission, like the goal of it was to have the first crewed space expedition. Anyway, so it starts off like all systems are go. All of a sudden something goes wrong. John is noticing like pressure is dropping. He describes the spaceship as feeling like it weighs double what it was than when he took off. So he's forced to do an emergency crash landing. We meet two new characters, Dave Randall and Donna Bixby. They were working at the space agency tracking station and they were able to see exactly where John crash landed. So they go out there to investigate. So they arrive at John's spaceship. They notice a huge tear down the side. Dave quickly checks John's vitals and he doesn't feel a pulse. So he decides to contact 3 more characters. So he radios Dr. Alex Wyman, Steve Dunlap, and Julie Benson. Sorry, I had to look down and check my notes. I will just be referring to all the characters by their first names moving forward. Julie, who's a physician, she is also John's fiance. So as you can imagine, she's very devastated to hear the news that John has crash landed and it looks like he didn't survive the impact. So Dave and Donna, they're still at the site. They radioed the other 3, so they're just waiting for them to arrive. Donna is a photographer, so she's taking pictures of the crash and everything. She notices a strange mud on the spaceship and sort of around the spaceship as well. And she brings this up with Dave and Dave just kind of brushes her off. Is there any, I mean, like how many movies have I done where like women in science have just sort of been brushed off or ignored? And this is no exception. So Dr. Alex, Steve and Julie arrive at the wreckage. Dave comments stating the tear in the side of the rocket ship appears to have gotten larger. In fact, Dr. Alex and Julie are able to actually climb through this tear in the side of the ship now so that they can examine John more. So Dr. Alex and Julie are examining John's body and they notice that rigor mortis hasn't set in. They say that he's been dead long enough that they should be seeing signs of that. Also, blood lividity isn't as it should be either. He has no pulse, he's not breathing, yet all other signs of his body, at least at this point, almost suggest that like reflective of that of a living person. So they say, well, we need to take him back to the lab, we need to test him more because something's not quite right, something isn't adding up. So they transport John's body back to the lab. They're examining him, they're noticing strange things like They notice that John's blood pressure is normal for that of a living person, for example. They also notice a strange lesion on John's arm. They couldn't quite figure out what that could have been from, because it doesn't look like it was just from the crash. Meanwhile, Dave is struggling to send and receive radio transmissions. So he decides to go out and investigate the power transformers just in case one of them could be down, and that could be the reason why the radio isn't working. Steve stays inside and continues to try to make radio transmissions while Dave is out investigating. So while Dave is outside, he's attacked by a large figure. We only see this figure from behind, and it's basically just a shadowy outline. We don't know what it is. Dave would go on to say that it kind of looked like a bear. So Dave actually pulls out his pistol and tries to shoot at the shadowy figure, which alerts everybody inside, so they all come running out, and this frightens the creature off. Having said that though, Dave believes that the creature looked like he was running towards the lab, so they're all getting quite nervous now that there could be this strange bear-like creature running around the lab. At that point, that's when they realize the power has gone off completely, not just the radio, so they're all using like gas lanterns so that they can see what they're doing. So Julie is looking at a sample of John's blood under the microscope. At first, it seems like a fairly normal blood cell. You know, she sees the white blood cells and the red blood cells, but then she notices a third abnormal looking blood cell that she can't quite put her feet, like it's abnormal, okay? Like we have our white blood cells and our red blood cells. This is a third unknown blood cell, and she's like, what the actual heck is going on with John's body? Upon hearing this, Alex is like, yeah, I don't think we have sufficient equipment at this lab to properly examine John or care for him. So Dr. Alex turns to Dave and Steve and says, look, if we can't make a phone call or radio anybody from here, you guys are gonna have to drive down to the nearest payphone and like call for assistance. Like call the next lab over and get them to send some more people down. We need help right now. So they discover that all their vehicles are just burnt out. They're just not working. They cannot pinpoint why. Dave figures out that they appear to be in a magnetic field because he realizes that their watches have stopped working as well. I don't want to put on too much black eyeshadow. This is the first sort of dramatic eye look I've done in a long time, and I've decided to do it while filming myself because that's wise. So with nowhere to go and nothing else to do, it is like quite late at night at this point. They just decide, you know what, let's just go to sleep. We'll figure it out in the morning. So we see the shadowy figure again. We see it make its way into the lab. So Steve wakes up to the sound of something happening in the examination room, where John's body is. He quietly goes over, wakes up Dave, and they go and investigate. They walk in on quite a shocking scene. They find Dr. Alex dead with half of his head missing. And before they can even properly process what they're looking at, John wakes up. Julie explains to John, she goes, oh my God, we thought you were dead. Your body had ceased to function. We could not find a pulse on you. There was no respiratory. How on earth are you alive? You were showing almost all the signs of a dead person. John starts saying, oh, maybe I was in some kind of suspended animation due to the sudden descent of my ship, and starts using like a lot of sort of medical and scientific terms. And the other, like Steve and Dave, are like, you don't usually talk like that. You kind of sound like Dr. Alex. And John just starts talking a little bit strangely, and he kind of says, oh, I kind of feels like he's influencing me in a way. Like, isn't this weird? John goes on to say, it didn't come here to destroy. And the other's like, what didn't come here to destroy? So Julie looks at a new blood sample from John. This time the third blood cell is no longer there. His blood cells are looking normal. They then decide to look at his body through what's called a fluoroscope. In hindsight, I should have looked this up to see if this is a real machine, but basically it's a type of X-ray. So they look at his torso with his X-ray, and they work out that these abnormal cells are actually now in the form of reptile-like fetuses currently residing in his abdomen, kind of like he's growing babies. So we've now worked out that John's sudden crash landing, the giant gash in the side of his spacecraft, the weird mud that they found, I think we've all figured out now that that was actually an alien that caused him to crash and has now impregnated John. So right at that moment, as they're all processing this, We finally get a good look at that shadowy figure that attacked Dave outside. We see it in its gruesome form. I remember reading someone's description of it, a dude wearing a giant parrot costume covered in poo, which I'll be honest, is pretty accurate. He's not, that person who came up with that description is not wrong. But I like to also nickname this alien John's baby daddy. Steve and Dave shoot at it, and then they throw one of the gas lanterns at it, and they realize, oh, this thing hates fire, and it takes off, and they think to themselves, look, we think we injured it, but we probably didn't kill it. John is very upset at all of this. He's begging the others not to harm it. It's not here to cause harm. It's a peaceful creature. He's also very concerned about the babies that he's growing, and he doesn't want the others to hurt the babies or to try to take them from him. Yeah, so John's just saying it's an innocent alien. It's the first of its kind to come to Earth. You know, just let him be. So Donna, Dave, and Steve, they decide to try and track the alien down. They find themselves back at the spacecraft wreckage when all of a sudden Donna is ambushed by the alien and he grabs her from behind. Dave and Steve rescue her. They didn't really see which direction the alien ran in, so they decide to head back to the lab in case he's decided to go back there. Back at the lab, the gang realize that John seems to have an almost telepathic connection with this alien. And John says, I think I can track this alien down because we have this connection. John basically says, look, I'll help you guys find this alien, but you have to promise that you're just going to listen to what this alien has to say, because this alien just wants to communicate with us. Promise you'll listen to what he has to say and you won't hurt him, like pinky swear. And they don't pinky swear. They well, not really. Like, Julie just points out the fact that, you know, for such a peaceful alien, he sure did a number on Dr. Alex. You know, that doesn't seem like something a peaceful alien would do. So because Dave and Steve worked out that this alien hates fire, they create some makeshift fire bombs, as well as a couple of flares too. Okay, so they all set out. John is able to locate where the alien is and he leads the gang to a cave. John still doesn't fully trust that the others are going to listen to the alien, so he just breaks away from the group and he goes into the cave just on his own. So earlier when I said how they found Dr. Alex with half of his head missing, we learned that the alien either consumed or assimilated Dr. Alex's brain. And now the alien can actually talk and speak English, and he actually talks with Dr. Alex's voice.
By assimilation, a form of photosynthesis, I've been able to incorporate certain of Dr. Wyman's functional processes.
The alien insists that Dr. Alex's death was a necessary sacrifice. He goes on to say that you humans, you've been progressing so much. You're actually pretty close to gaining this ultimate power, but I'm here to warn you, us aliens, we obtained this type of power. It ended up destroying us. So I'm here to warn you guys not to do that your own selfishness and greed is going to be your downfall. And I'm here to put an end to that by merging my race with yours in the form of hybrid babies that Steve is currently carrying the first litter of. Is that what it's called? Is a litter of aliens? He also explained how they were able to come to Earth because these aliens had actually been circling Earth for a long, long time. But John's rocket ship, that was the first time a crewed expedition went off into outer space. So that's how they were able to penetrate Earth's atmosphere, essentially hitching a ride on John's rocket. This alien continues to say, oh, you know, I want to give you humans a better way of life. This is for the greater good. You know, we can save both of our species by working together. Surprisingly, John is the first one to not like this one little bit, ironically. He says that the alien is sacrificing the human race for the salvation of his own, or the resurrection of his own, Which, yeah, because considering not that long ago he was saying listen to the alien and don't hurt the babies. John then takes his own life by stabbing himself because he, in order for those babies not to be born, he would have to die. So with John laying there dying, Dave and Steve like throw the flares and the fire bombs that they created at the alien to kill it. As the alien is dying, it says how there are more of his kind out there watching planet Earth, and they're just watching and waiting. They have every intention to come to Earth again. Essentially that an alien takeover is inevitable. And that's the end of the movie, and I have not finished my makeup yet, so I'll just put a lip on. I realize I haven't done a glossy lip in, well, probably ever actually on my channel, so I'm going to top with a gloss too. So the ending of the film is in a way slightly ambiguous. Is this alien telling the truth? Is it really there to save us all? Is this the best way to save the human race? Or is the alien just selfish and just wants to take over planet Earth? This is usually the part of the video where I talk about some fun facts, some trivia. I really didn't see anything that really took my fancy or anything that I thought was particularly interesting about this film. A lot of people love to make fun of it. Something I will say about this film. So this film is actually considered the first film to depict an alien impregnating a human. Of course, we've got the famous Ridley Scott film Alien. They came out in the late 70s, which does show alien impregnation in a very similar way. Yeah, something I find interesting about movies from back in the 50s, a lot of them were quite short. This movie is only just over an hour long, which is probably why I finished talking about the movie before my makeup was done. Now, the reason why I chose this movie to watch and do a recap of is because I was a big fan of the show Whose Line Is It Anyway? I still am really. But there was a game they played called Film Dub where they would play like an old movie from the 50s and the different comedians had to because they would play a clip from a film on silent and the comedians would have to like voice each character. And this one was so funny. I just I need to find out what this film is and like watch the actual film. Just some of the things that they were saying, you know, because they showed the scene where they see like the reptile fetuses on John's body, and Brad Sherwood, who was the voice of, who was like doing Julie's voice, goes, "You've eaten too many sea monkeys." Oh. You've apparently eaten too many sea monkeys.
I don't remember.
I don't know what's wrong. You really should chew them better.
Oh, no wonder I've got the trots.
I just thought that was great. Another reason why I wanted to do this film is that you can actually watch it right here on YouTube for free. You just have to sit through a couple of ads. You don't need any sort of like fancy paid subscription to YouTube or anything like that. You just type in Night of the Blood Beast into the YouTube search box and you can find it. I will post a link as well. Cost of living is a bit crazy for everybody right now, so I think it's great that some of these types of movies are here on YouTube to watch for absolutely no cost at all. There are a couple more movies I would like to do, also inspired by the Whose Line Is It Anyway game, because they did this game like quite a few times, and quite often they were sci-fi movies. So and also these movies are available on YouTube as well. So yeah, I plan to do recap videos for those as well. So with that said, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you guys end up watching it. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions, and I will be talking to you all again in my next video. Bye.